guess what rhythm concept influenced contemporary hip hop? Now, I thought because of the heavy bass lines that hip hop music came from old funk grooves. Then I figured that they slowed the beat down and laid back like a slight hesitation on the beat. And I knew that James Brown influenced hip hop because his music was sampled so many times in hip hop music. And it wasn't until one of my viewers mentioned it in the comments. And whenever you talk about history, you're always going to have different perspectives, and I love that. So I just did more research on what drums and what types of rhythm influenced hip hop music. So in this episode of Beat of Her Drum, we're going to explore what rhythmic concepts influenced hip hop music. So let's first talk about the birth of hip hop. And just a quick pause here, please like and subscribe. 90% of you that view my videos don't subscribe. This helps the channel to grow, so thank you. So in the 1970s, a new movement emerged at block parties in Bronx, New York. And at these neighborhood block parties, DJs began isolating the most rhythmic sections of funk records, known as the breakbeat. These breaks often featured powerful drum grooves, which the DJs noticed how excited it would make the crowds. These breakbeats enabled the evolution of the hip-hop style. By looping these beats, DJs created a continuous rhythm that dancers and MCs or rappers could perform over. And not only were DJs using their turntables while using scratching effects, but beatboxing and instrumental tracks were also incorporated. But due to social, political, and economic issues like poverty, hip-hop music was used as a form of expression in demanding social change and activism. Now, as we know, hip-hop has continued to evolve, but we're going to go back and look at some history of before hip-hop began. So let's go. So we're going to travel back in time, and we're going to move across continents and explore what survived history and eventually helped shape one of the most influential genres of modern music, called hip-hop. So long before modern instruments existed, many African cultures developed incredibly sophisticated rhythmic systems using drums. And you could tell by just looking at these players that these weren't just instruments. They were tools used for communication, storytelling, ceremony, and community identity. And some of the well-known drums that were used, the djembe, the talking drum, and the dum-dum. And what made these rhythms unique was something called polyrhythm. And instead of one steady beat, African drumming often layers multiple rhythms at the same time, creating a rich and complex groove. Now, one rhythm might stay steady, while another rhythm dances around it. This idea, which is layered rhythm, would eventually influence many modern music styles. During the transatlantic slave trade, millions of Africans were forcibly brought to the Americas, and along with them came their cultural traditions, including rhythm. And even though drums were banned in some places because slave owners feared communication through rhythm, however, the beat survived. Rhythmic traditions continued through clapping, foot stomping, work songs, and spirituals. And because of these practices, African rhythmic mindset was preserved, even without the drums. And over time, these rhythms blended with European musical traditions, forming the roots of new music styles. As African and European musical traditions mixed, new genres began to emerge in the United States. These included jazz, blues, and gospel. These genres kept many African rhythmic elements alive, such as call and response patterns, syncopation, and groove-focused rhythm. Drummers in jazz and funk began experimenting with syncopated beats, meaning that the rhythms emphasize unexpected accents. And instead of simply keeping time, the drums began to drive the music forward, and this rhythmic energy laid the foundation for something new. And even today, the influence of African rhythm can still be heard in hip-hop music. Some hip-hop producers even incorporate traditional African percussion sounds directly into their beats. This creates a powerful musical connection between the past and the present. Hip-hop may be a modern genre, but its rhythmic roots run deep. From African villages to American blues and jazz to block parties in New York City, the beat continued to evolve, and its heart remains the same idea: rhythm brings people together. So the next time you hear a hip-hop beat, remember that the rhythm behind it carries centuries of history. This is Beat of Her Drum, and as always, the rhythm lives on. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, watch the next video in the rhythm series, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, don't miss a